I'd like to take a couple of minutes and really talk about why I think that the economy and the dollar really is in trouble. Once you understand how business should operate and then see how the economy has been functioning over the last several years, you can see that it's just not sustainable and we're in serious trouble, which is why I think the best thing to own, again, is silver. Basically, when you sell your time for money and turn that money into more money and therefore more time, you take the money you earned and you invest it in a business or anything, and theoretically that business expands and makes more money, and you invest again and expand. That's how an economy expands. It takes time to make the money, to invest the money, to make more money, though. It takes time. It can only function at a certain rate. Well, we live in a want-it-now society, and they keep coming out with all these technological advances, these big screen TVs, these SUVs, these iPhones, and everything like that. Well, people don't want to wait several years to buy that stuff. They want it now. And the government made sure that we had plenty of money to borrow to get these things. Well, we borrowed so much future money. We've taken the money that we're going to earn in the future and brought it to the present, and we spent it. So the only way I can figure it is going to take time to pay this money back, but we have to spend that time paying our bills. So to make a long story short, we've borrowed more than we could ever pay back, and we can default and walk away from a house, but when our country walks away from borrowing the savings of other countries, I don't even want to think about what's going to happen then. They're going to have to devalue the dollar to make it easier to pay this debt back, which they're never going to be able to do. The dollar is going to have to be wiped out. You borrow money that's worth this much, you want to devalue it so you're paying back the money that's worth this much. In other words, you're dropping your debt just by devaluing the currency. And that's their master strategy. Borrow as much as possible till people can't pay it back, and then devalue the currency so we don't have to pay it back. It's insanity. It's the piper's come a-calling. It's time to pay the piper. I didn't run out. I own my TV. I own everything I have. I did finance my car, but I wanted to maintain a good credit record so I could borrow more money in the future. Not too much. So I didn't I didn't drink the Kool-Aid and get myself in over my head. Now, with all these people buying houses that they can't pay for, people are talking about a turnaround in housing, but my question is, where's the demand going to come from? Because of all the people who defaulted, they don't have the credit record anymore. And now, if you try to buy a house, they're going to look up your butt to see if you qualify. Before you didn't even, all you had to do was breathe, and you got the loan. So where's all this demand going to come from exactly? Because if the housing market doesn't turn around, nothing's going to turn around, and there's no way the housing can turn around without a huge influx of capital. And even if the capital comes to the banks, how can the banks reloan to people that just defaulted? I mean, if you didn't own a house in the last from 02 to 05, why would you own one now? All you have to do is be breathing and just pay the interest. Sometimes not even that. They squeeze every ounce of juice out of that lemon and it's gone. So my question is, where's this demand going to come from exactly? Are people out there just waiting with all their savings? Oh, that's right, they didn't save any money, they spent it. And then they borrowed other people's savings and spent that too. And now we're supposed to believe that somehow housing is going to make a turnaround because now money's easy to borrow? Oh, wait a minute. That's what created the bubble in the first place. So how can the cause of the problem be the solution at the same time? It doesn't make sense to me. So all arrows point to a lower dollar, higher silver, higher commodities. If you can touch it and people need to use it and need to repurchase it, like water, like food, and especially like silver, you're going to do just fine in the last couple of years. I know in my videos I had a trading strategy of trading the ETF, and that's it's advanced, it's a very aggressive strategy. If you don't know much about trading and you don't want to risk your money, turn that money into silver. I had a suggestion from Stella Concepts, search for him for his vids, and he said that you got to be careful not to lose your dollars. You could turn those dollars into silver if you lose them in the market, and that's very true. If you don't feel comfortable trading, I do, but if you don't feel comfortable trading in the ETF, then I can make it sound real good, but the reality is a little different than that. But I've been able to make it work, but I've been studying for a long time. So if you have a little bit of money, open a brokerage account, put a couple $100 in. You never know what's going to happen. Otherwise, I recommend accumulating the rounds, not the big blocks, because best case scenario, if silver goes high, which is what you wanted to do, it's a little bit harder turning this into something. And that's another point I wanted to make. Let's say silver goes through the moon the next 4 or 5 years. It has a monumental, let's say silver goes to $1,000 an ounce. What are you going to do then? Trade it in for dollars? You have to have a plan. You have to have the next step. You can't just say, I own silver. Silver is going to go to the moon and I'm going to be rich. Well, you better have a plan so that when that day comes, you're not just starting your strategy then. You got to have a strategy. My strategy is I think real estate is going to continue to come down even if the dollar weakens, because there's no place for demand. Silver is going to go through the roof, and then you can turn your silver into real estate. That's what when silver gets to about 10% of gold, 10-15% of gold, it might be the time to start selling some of it. Depends on what the price is. It depends on what the price of silver is compared to what you can buy a house for. I know back in the 70s you could buy a house with 63 ounces of gold. That's $63,000 in today's money, right around there, a little less than that. So you have to figure out what's a house going to cost in 4 years. What might silver be at? If silver is at $100, if it's only at $100 and I need 500,000 to buy a house, I better have 5,000 ounces. I think that's the math is right. That's $500,000. So I need to accumulate 5,000 ounces. If I think the price is going to go to 500, obviously I only need 1,000 ounces. So how much is enough? Well, in the next 3 or 4 years, what's my target on silver? I'd say at least $100. It has to. I don't see any way it couldn't. That's my target anyway. So I'm trying to accumulate. I have a goal of 5,000 ounces because I think $500,000 in a few years in silver will buy a pretty nice house, because I believe housing is going to come down. That's my strategy. That's what things are pointing to. If you have something that sounds better or what you think, let me know in your comments. But that's what I'm doing. So buy more silver. My videos from now on are going to be just technical analysis, trying to teach you how I think silver is going to go higher, just in case you are trading it. Maybe I can help you out a little bit. Maybe you can help me. I'm not the all-knowing silver man or anything like that, but hopefully these videos will help you out, and look forward to your comments, and I'll see you on the next vid.